Hey y'all, today we are seeding Snapdragons. So to start, you are going to put your seed starting soil into some type of container. We use seed starting soil because it's a little more finer than your normal plant soil, but you can also use that as well. We've used that in the past and have not had problems with it. So then, after you're done pouring your soil into a container, you're going to pour water into the container as well. And then you're going to mix the water with the soil to get the soil pretty moist. And you're also going to rake out any clumps that is in the soil. And you're going to have to just mess around with how much water you put in. You don't want your soil to be too dry, but you do not want it to be too moist either. You want kind of an in-between, nice and moist soil. So this is a little too dry right now, so I'm going to have to pour a little more water in and make sure that I mix it up well to get a nice moist mixture. After putting that last bit of water in, our soil is basically ready. It is nice and firm when you push it together, and it'll kind of make a mold, but it also is kind of wet, but it's not too sopping wet. That is what you want. Next, you're going to take your plug tray, whatever size you have, and put your soil into each and every plug that is in the tray. This is a 288 hole plug tray, but you do not have to use one with this small holes. You can use a 72 or 128 or even a 50 count plug tray. We are just using this one because Snapdragon seeds are a smaller seed, so the 288 plug tray helps them germinate a little better because it is a more smaller hole. But if you have a more bigger hole in your plug tray, do not worry, they will still work. And then after you're done filling it, you're going to take another one of the same amount of holes and you're going to put it on top and just press down. So then there are holes in the dirt to be able to plant your seeds into. And now I'm checking how many seeds I need to plant, and I need to plant a total of 360 Snapdragon seeds. So now I'm taking the seed packets out of the storage and finding the correct variety that I need, which is going to be a Costa mildly white variety. And then you're going to just open your packet up and pour the seeds into your hand. There are a lot of different seed starting tools that you can use, but we just use our hand and fingers to plant them. I have seen people take a toothpick and dip it in some water and then dip the toothpick onto a seed, and then the seed will stick onto the toothpick. And then you take that toothpick and put it into your hole, and that is how they plant. I found it a little hard to actually see if the seed made it into the hole or if it was still on the toothpick because some of the dirt stuck onto the toothpick. So I just decided to continue to use my fingers to do plantings because I just found it a lot easier than trying to figure that toothpick out. But I do have another tip with the toothpicks. I use it to track where I am because I find it a little hard, especially with the small Snapdragon seeds, to exactly see where I just had planted. And so I use that to follow along the rows so then I know where I have seeded. And then since the seeds are so small, what I do is kind of move them in a line along my hand and then just pick up the first one and seed it. And then once you're finished planting all the seeds, you just take whatever type of marker that you're going to use to mark what variety your flowers are and just write the variety on it. You can use popsicle sticks, these little tags that we have, or anything like that. And now here is a time lapse of me finishing the rest of the varieties for this plug tray. And another thing that I do when I am finished is if I have just a couple seeds in my hand like this, I only had a couple more left, so I just kind of sprinkled them over top the spots that were already planted, because if you have two germinate in the same one, you can pull them apart and use them. And then when you're finished, you're going to take vermiculite, and this is just a natural occurring mineral that helps keep the moisture in the soil so the seeds do not dry out as quickly. You certainly do not have to use vermiculite, you're just going to have to make sure you keep them watered a little better. But we are using vermiculite so then the soil can stay moist, and it helps it stay a little humid as well, which is what seedlings need. So I do highly recommend trying vermiculite out if you have not and see your results. We find it very helpful, but again, you do not have to use it if you would not like to. And then when you're finished spreading your vermiculite, you're going to take a spray bottle full of water and mist water all along your tray. You want to mist it in very well. You want it to be pretty moist and pretty wet, so then that vermiculite can do its job and keep the soil nice and moist so the seeds can start to germinate. And then finally, once you're done, take your plug tray full of your planted seeds and put it under your grow light or by your window, or put it wherever the sunlight is going to be that you're getting from, and just wait and watch them germinate. Snapdragons need about 13 to 16 hours of light a day, so make sure your snapdragons are getting that enough amount of sunlight that they need to be able to germinate properly. And that is basically how we plant our Snapdragon seedlings. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Please subscribe and like this video.